I'd been driving for over an hour, and the weight of sleep was beginning to drag on me. I still had 3 more hours to go before I'd reach my hometown, but I wasn't going to make it, not without risking falling asleep at the wheel. A quick glance at the clock on my dash told me it was 2:30 a.m. That's when I decided I'd stop at the next hotel I found, call it a night, and head home in the morning. It wasn't long before I spotted a massive hotel looming off the next exit. I took a winding turn off the highway, crossing an old bridge, and suddenly found myself in the parking lot of this surprisingly well-kept, 4-story building. The place looked like it had been plucked straight out of the early 1900s. Tall, elegant, and more than a little eerie. A small thrill ran through me as I imagined telling my friends about the creepy old hotel I'd stumbled upon. When I stepped inside, I was blown away. The interior was pure Victorian grandeur. The entrance looked like an old, grand ballroom, with huge chandeliers casting a warm amber glow across the pristine, polished floors. Everything about the place was immaculate, as if frozen in time. The front desk clerk greeted me, and I was shocked to learn the price of a room, $225. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill roadside motel. It was a historical hotel, and I was paying for the privilege. Reluctantly, I handed over my card, too tired to argue. My room was on the 4th floor. I eyed the antiquated elevator but decided against it. The thing looked like it belonged in a museum, so I took the wide staircase instead. When I reached the top, I saw my room was at the very end of the hallway. Inside, I was pleasantly surprised. The room was beautiful, with a nostalgic charm that almost made up for the musty scent lingering in the air. It reminded me of an old library, quiet, ancient, and heavy with unspoken stories. Exhausted, I collapsed into bed and quickly drifted off. Sometime during the night, a storm rolled in. Thunder cracked loudly, and the sound of rain splattering against the windows woke me. A flash of lightning illuminated the room, and that's when I saw it. At the foot of my bed stood a shadowy figure, there and gone in an instant, vanishing with the next crack of thunder. My breath caught in my throat as I bolted upright. Had I really seen something? I told myself it was my imagination, a trick of the storm and my tired mind. But the unease lingered. I lay back down, trying to shake the feeling. Just as I began to drift off again, I heard it, a sound that sent chills down my spine. Knocking, faint but deliberate, coming from the large closet near the bathroom. I froze, my mind racing. After a few moments, I forced myself to investigate. When I opened the closet door, there was nothing there. But I knew what I had heard. Shaken, I checked the front door of my room. When I opened it, I caught a glimpse of a woman at the far end of the hallway. She wore a long, old-fashioned dress, her black hair hanging like a curtain around her face. I blinked, and she was gone. My rational mind tried to explain it away. Maybe it was another guest, lost and looking for her room. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I climbed back into bed, but the unease was suffocating. My eyes locked on the closet door, which I now realized was slightly ajar again. Then I felt it, a warm breath on the back of my neck. My entire body froze as the closet door creaked open. Slowly, couldn't breathe, couldn't move. The sensation of breath on my neck grew stronger. Finally, I twisted around, and there she was, a horrifying, half-decayed woman lying in bed with me, her sunken eyes staring into mine. I screamed, bolting from the room and racing down the hall. My feet barely touched the stairs as I sprinted to the front desk. When I told the clerk what had happened and gave her my room number, her expression darkened. "You were in 404?" she asked softly, her voice heavy with regret. "I'm so sorry. That room shouldn't have been booked. It's off limits." I demanded an explanation. That's when she told me the story. Back in the early 1900s, a woman had died in that room under mysterious circumstances. Ever since, guests reported seeing her or worse, experiencing her. The room had been closed off for years due to the disturbing number of complaints. I refused to go back. The clerk apologized profusely and retrieved my belongings herself. She moved me to a new room on the 1st floor, but I barely slept for the rest of the night. That was the first and last time I ever stayed at the Crescent Hotel.